Hey everybody, we're standing outside of a Shell station, charging our car, on our way to GenCon. We are showing off several things in the first exposure playtest hall this year, and we're also going to be documenting everything as we go.
So this is a prototype copy, something that we built. Many sticks of glue were sacrificed in the making of this game. But a lot of the art is final. We're very close to being done. We'll probably submit the files to the factory in October if we're lucky. Arcs is a fast-playing strategy game set in kind of space opera setting. It's different from games like Twilight Imperium and things like that because it's not a civilization game. It's not trying to tell like a 100-year story or anything like that. It's telling a story of a few years, so it's a little more operational in scope and strategy. It's driven by this very interactive action system where players will lead a card of a particular suit. Other players can follow that suit, playing a higher number, get all the actions on those cards. And then if you don't want to do these things, you could play any card in your hand to copy it. So if people say, hey, it's the season of constructing, and someone says, I was going to battle, but actually I'd like to construct instead, you're also welcome to play cards off suit, but they're weaker. They only count for one action if you played off suit.
So modified trick taking.
It's a little bit like a modified trick taking.
Okay.
And at the end of the game, whoever played the highest, this is the lead suit, whoever played the highest on suit card, they're going to take the initiative. They get this little pawn. They get to lead the next hand.
Okay.
Everything in this game is player-driven, and that includes the scoring. So there's no like auto scoring, no cash out. The way scoring works is when someone leads a card, they have the option of lowering their number to 0 and declaring one of these scoring conditions over here. This would be the tyrant condition. And then that determines which of the 5 scoring vectors are going to be counted this hand. Maybe you play a hand and everybody went all in on Warlord, and you were only scoring for battles. Maybe you play a hand and everyone's a coward and nobody scored anything. Okay. That's also something that happens. It just depends on how the players want to play it. The battle system's really fun. Like a lot of these games, you roll 1 die per piece. But in this game, you get to select, like, do you want to be cautious? I've got these 3 red chips. Maybe I rolled the cautious dice. I only got 1 hit. Maybe I'm short on time. I only think I'm going to get 1 battle action, so I roll the red dice, which are a lot more destructive, but they're dangerous. I can get intercepted and do damage to myself. You can also do raids, which are extremely dangerous, but you might steal something. Critically, you can mix and match. Maybe you want to do a light bombardment, sneak a little raid in, see if you can get something on the side. It's up to the players to determine the mix of the combat dice.
Okay.
Then all of this is supplemented by the campaign system. So there is an additional expansion which has about 400 cards in it and has 24 plot lines, and you can play 3 linked games of Arcs where players are gradually drafting their own science fiction faction. So you might start the game as the believer here, trying to run a space religion, basically. In doing that, your whole objective is to add a new suit into the action deck and get rid of old suits that are out there. Maybe you fail in your objective. So in the second game, you decide to pivot to become a space pirate or something. But you're not just a space pirate. You're a space pirate whose ship is full of cultists from that time you started a religion. In the third game, maybe you want to run a casino. But you're not just a gambler. You're a gambler who's running a casino out of their pirate ship that's also staffed by all the cultists from game 1. So everything that you do impacts the whole game and creates these. It's sort of like playing Build-A-Root or Build-A-Bear, or Build-A-Doo, right? And so by the end of the game, you draft these really lovely resonant games. The game takes about 90 minutes. The campaign is just 3 90-minute games.
Wow.
For first-time players, that of course is going to be longer. But for players who want to play the campaign game on a weeknight, we've designed the inserts of the game so the game packs up very quickly. In about 6 or 7 minutes, you can break everything down, and then you can reboot it next time and continue from where you left off.
That's amazing for anything that even resembles a 4X to be that fast. So
yeah, it is speedy. You know, we think if you negotiate a lot, sometimes people are going to have the big, long, 7 or 8 hour games, but you divide it into 3 sessions.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure.
In this game, you play as a Douglas fir in an ancient forest surrounded by mushrooms, and you have a relationship with those mushrooms. You can leverage their mycelial network to move nutrients and carbon out of the soil and into your seedlings. You're trying to grow the next generation of amazing trees in the forest. The game will be on Kickstarter this fall. It'll be delivered to backers, and it'll be in retail stores next year.
So we're here at Nocturne. I am personally looking forward to this one with Robert. Can you tell us a little bit about what Nocturne is?
In Nocturne, each player is a fox in the forest, and you are going to be using your spells to try and gain control of these mystical items that exist in the forest. This is done by choosing one of your spells, placing it on the board, and the next player can either pass or they have to bid a spell, cast a spell, adjacent to the one you just cast, and it has to be more powerful. The next player may go here, I may then pass, the next player may outbid them, and if everybody else passes, they win control of this tile. It goes into their possession, and every other player can take their token back or put them in a secondary market. And we're going to continue to do this with that player who just won having to start next to where they just won until all these tiles are won. Each tile has a little bit of a different way of scoring. So for example, the feathers, you just want lots of them, because if you have 7 by the end of the game, you'll get 32 points. The skulls are just worth a base number of points each, sometimes 2, sometimes 4. Mushrooms, you want to make sure you get maybe 3 because that's your best way to get points. If you only have 2, you are going to get 0 points. But you can use these to duplicate a tiles to get an extra mushroom, or you can use the treasure chest to draw any from the wild market. So lots of ways to get the tiles you want, but you just got to make sure you have the most powerful spell when you need it.
So everyone has the same tokens.
Yep, everyone has the same tokens until the second round. Let's pretend I only had my 4 and my 7 left that I didn't spend, whereas someone else has just the 5. Because I have a 7, I would get first choice of this 10 spell, and I would throw away my 1. So in the next round, and then their 5 would become a 9. To clarify, their 5 would not become a 9. They'd get the 9 and throw away their 1. And then because I have a leftover 4, I'd get the 8. And now in the next round, players who maybe didn't cast as many spells will get really good spells to try and make up for it in the second round. So in the first round, everyone has the same. In the second round, there's a little bit of differences where I have to realize, my 9 can be beaten by their 10.
Okay, yeah, this is a lot more player interaction, but continuing your grand tradition of placing things on a table in a grid.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
GenCon library. I don't know if this is the largest open gaming table library in the world, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told me that was the case. So some sort of Keyforge tournament going on, maybe? I'm assuming the big giant dragon is cordoning off the role-playing section, maybe? I don't know. So there are whole rooms dedicated to role-playing, so who knows? But it's refreshingly cool and quiet in here.